Thanks very much, Andrew. We now come on to the best presentation of the day, and that's going to be Claire's in a moment. While Andrew hands over the microphone to Claire, I'll explain what this is all about. So we're going to talk about BSI, about some of our brands and our logos, and we're going to end up with a chance for you to do a bit of talking and a bit of thinking on your tables, and we're going to pose some questions to you. They're actually the same questions that were posed to the global management team at the conference that we had in Chiswick just before December, and it'd be really interesting to know what you make of the answers. With the amount of time we have and the number of people we have here, we've probably not got much chance to go through here and today what your answers are, but we'll collect them off you, those that you've written down, and consolidate them, and maybe come back with a few highlights later on today, but subsequently on an email or on a Connect page or something, we'll give you a fuller synopsis of what's said. So Claire and I are going to talk about some of BSI's brands and our logos. I've done a lot of talking about brands to you. Those of you who were here at this event and the similar events last year will remember Judy and I talking about the brand and what our brand means and its importance and how important it is to find examples of BSI upholding the brand. And I'm really pleased to say that the feedback we had from you there and subsequently enabled Judy and the team to write 58 different client case studies last year, all about where BSI's brand was in action and acting successfully. So that was really great, and that was a really good example, I guess, of collaboration here between us in a marketing department and you and the people that actually witness the brand in action. So we also talk about brands. Who's been through a Milton Keynes induction program where I've talked about brands in the last year, 18 months or so? Okay, a few, yeah, quite a few of you. And some of you this will be new. So rather than labour the point, just say very quickly, a brand, think about a brand as being a promise. If you're going to expose yourself to BSI brand as a customer, as a member of staff, as a supplier, or some other stakeholder in BSI, by the image or the reputation or the brand of BSI, you already know something about what to expect. And the logo is one of the flags of the brand, a symbol that epitomizes the brand. Now that we've become one BSI, we've kind of reduced the numbers of logos that we have. You'll all remember we had various versions of this logo with things written underneath it to delineate certain departments within the business. We've done away with all those. So we actually have fewer brands, fewer logos to concern ourselves about. A lot of us here today have come from effectively three separate parts of the business. The Central European and Middle Eastern countries, what used to be management systems based in Milton Keynes, and what used to be product services based in Hemel. And whilst we're all hopefully quite familiar with the parts of the business that we came from, we may not know so much about the other parts. So one of the things that Claire and I hope to achieve today, if Claire's going to come stand alongside me, because you're on in a minute, we're going to try and talk you through some of the highlights of some of the respective logos of the business. And once you start thinking about brands and logos, you actually start thinking about the business and what it means to you and what it should mean to our customers and the suppliers and the other stakeholders you work with. Even your relatives and friends, you know, when you're out and about and tomorrow night in Hemel or Milton Keynes or Rome or Madrid or Barcelona and interesting places like that, and you meet friends and you meet family and you might mention you work for BSI, that may conjure up in their mind an image. That's what a brand does. You work for BSI, oh, that's, you know, it's positive, it's negative, it means this, it means that. Hopefully it means something, hopefully that's something positive. So we think thinking about our brands is good. So the first brand we're going to give you a little overview of is of these three brands. These are the three brands we're going to discuss. So I'm going to introduce Claire. Some of you might not know Claire Lynham. Claire's worked for BSI a number of years, based in Hemel. Claire is now, she works in our business development department, and she's our head of communications and alliances. And she also really is the marketing manager for the testing and Hemel-based businesses until such time as the rest of my department really get to grips with that and absorb it, and it becomes as familiar to us as the rest of it is. So I've asked Claire to come and run through a few slides explaining what this logo means and the brand behind it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me? Good, hope so. Okay, so I'm hoping for a good show of hands here. Who recognises this symbol? Thank God for that.
Okay.
Now, the guys who work with this all year, for many years, will know all about this, so please bear with me while I try and fill in some gaps for those who don't. I think the primary point of this is the kite mark is a number of things, but it is, to use someone else's strapline, as good today as it was the day it was invented. And that was over 100 years ago. And for a brand to still deliver the same integrity and quality over all those years is quite some achievement. Not only is it a voluntary certification and unique to BSI, but it has actually achieved in its own right business super brand status for the last 2 years, which again is a significant achievement. As a brand, because of its integrity and the quality that it represents, we protect it, not only the word, but the symbol as well, and we guard it zealously. So we will take legal action if we spot its misuse, but we do, on the other hand, prefer to encourage people to actually use it in their marketing and promotion. The actual business of Kitemark has around 450 schemes that range from plugs and sockets to child safety online software. So it moves and evolves with technology and time. There's around just short of 4,000 licenses shared between about 2,500 licensees, and that's obviously because some have more than one license. The primary sectors that you'll find Kitemark schemes in are fire, construction, electrical, personal safety, so that's things like crash helmets, riding helmets, breathing apparatus and masks. Transport, you've heard a lot about PAS 125, which is the crash car accident repair scheme, which is very successful. And what we try to do is, on the service schemes, which doesn't seem to be working, you'll spot the roundels, as we call them. So if you look at your local garage where you take your car for a service, if you're lucky, it'll have a Kitemark garage services scheme to it, which means that you can be more reassured of the service you're going to get. Likewise, the same when you have windows installed, you'd want to make sure that you had a quality installation to go with what will hopefully be a quality product. So you might ask, what will the Kitemark do for me? Well, if you're a business, it's going to help you stand out from the competition. It's going to give you access to tenders and bigger projects through either the local council or bigger organisation that put their business through contracts. It's also going to enhance your reputation and your staff motivation, and licensees continually tell us that the Kitemark has instilled in their staff a greater sense of value and worth. They really feel they're motivated to deliver a good service. So as a specifier or a procurement professional, you're really looking to demonstrate that you've applied duty of care, due diligence, all those things, meeting health and safety obligations, as well as achieving best value. And Kitemark really helps you do that because of the systems that are in place in achieving a Kitemark.